Hello there again, YouTube. This is my doomed account with another review coming back at you. Real slick like. These are the Skullcandy GIs and looking pretty good on my desk. Let's get right to it. Let's showcase these bad boys. Alright. Got a little stash pocket right there. You see the headband with the adjustable size right there. I'll get into all that in a second. It's got a 4-foot long braided cable. 4 or 5 foot, I'm not sure. Gold plated tip right there. Comes with a shuffle controller. Pause or start is 1 click. 2 clicks is next. 3 clicks is previous. You hold next to previous, it scrolls through the track. And a little microphone right there. You see that little dot? Alright. Also comes with a little pro DJ articulation. These are supposed to be Skullcandy's low budget DJ headphones. At least that's what I get the impression of. Alright, let me put that back. Oh, also, removable ear cups, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. You just gotta put it back with the clicks. See if we can do this with one hand. Oof. Takes a lot of dexterity and a lot of patience. Or just a lot of hammering down things. There we go. Easier with 2 hands. Alright. Now, this is definitely a new approach of what Skullcandy can really do with headphones. I actually like this approach. It goes for a more accurate sound rather than a more intense sound. Definitely what most of the greats try to do. And it's trying to maybe make a more accurate headphone. Maybe in terms of the DJing kind of things. Now, to get to it, I'm going to get to the adjustable band first because this I like. You can see on this, on like 2 clicks. And that's nothing. I have a normal head. And this shit can go pretty big. It is a pretty big headphone. So if you have a huge head, you probably will fit into these. Probably no problem at all. I've gone through some Skullcandy ROM, I think around 4 clicks above, or maybe I'm just like the whole way or close to the whole way like I am with the Skull Crushers. I was thinking, what is a lower form? What would be the basically what would I base this off of? The GIs when I was going through them in songs. What would I really bounce this off of to see how much better they are and how much they've evolved from a certain headphone? And I can think of none other than the Skullcandy Hesh right here. So this was kind of my reference point from when I was looking to, hey, I see how the GI sounds here. It's got this, 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 and this. How does the Hesh sound? And the Hesh seemed to stand alone in some categories, but it definitely got better with the GIs. Some sounds are evolved. I will go through that right now. Well, the first thing I noticed when I was scrolling along through my usual tracks that I used to review headphones, when I was listening to a lot of jazz, a lot of experimental or smooth jazz, freeform jazz, it was, or just making complex music in general, symphonies, what have you. These were very, very accurate. I could tell. You can hear a lot of noise. Little noise gets kind of bullied out of their frequency, and it doesn't. It seems to boost all the right frequencies without kind of swelling too much, and then you just lose something in the process, which Skullcandy tends to do a lot. You've seen so with Skull Crushers, as for example, and everything just seemed to blend very well. And then I went back to my reference point, the Hesh. The Hesh did not do so well. I put on a John Coltrane track, and how it's mixed is there's saxophone on the left, along with piano, and then there's drum and bass on the right. Well, the bass was fuzzed up by the Hesh's bass. Like, if it's natural booming bass, it just got fuzzy, and it overlapped the drums, and then you couldn't hear the drums so well. It did the same with the saxophone. I think it boosted the saxophone a little bit too much. And I don't think it was a mix because I was using the GIs, and the GIs, it sounded great. The Hesh would clip in treble frequencies, which is terrible, terrible for your ears. It hurts so much. And the saxophone would just squeak, and then I'd like jump a little bit. It hurt my ears. That's basically the main difference. This is just way more accurate response. It just blends more. Let's get on to another subject. How about hip hop? I was testing on hip hop with these headphones. Now, this is where the Hesh may stand a little bit more over the top. Hip hop, definitely everything blends a little bit more, and the frequencies that kind of get dulled down tend to stand out, and then you're like, you hear some lossless things. You hear like, oh, I didn't hear that before. But the thing is, since the ear cups are removable and they kind of wiggle just a tiny bit, but because of that plastic, if there's too much bass, it rattles. Also, I have to get to talking about bass. I know I have to derail myself, but the bass, if you're gonna transfer from a Hesh to a GI, or maybe even, I don't know about a Skull Crusher, but anything with just a lot of bass to a GI, you're gonna think the GI has no bass whatsoever, and you're gonna completely diminish it as a headphone. I almost fell for that until I just started opening my ears a little bit more. And also, this is my second GI, and yeah. The GI does have bass. It takes a little bit more to push more bass out of it, definitely, than the Hesh. But then again, the GIs can get louder without getting blurrier. So this has definitely a bigger range. It's basically like a car that has more top speed than acceleration. And these can get a better performance when they're at top speed. And I don't know, it sounds better when it's loud. So the rattling, yeah, and when you're playing hip hop, will get kind of annoying. And for the Hesh, they won't rattle. And the Hesh, they don't have that bad of a blend for hip hop. Maybe you'll lose a couple of things in the mix that the GIs might still have if it's really intricate. But I'd rather give it to the Hesh or hip hop than honestly the GIs. But that's just my personal preference. I just want to feel intense when I'm listening to the Hesh. Of course, but if there's an intricate track, I'd definitely go for the GIs. Depends what style of hip hop you're kind of listening for. I started trying out the GIs in rock and any other subgenres of rock, because just I don't remember the last time anybody said rock. The GIs are amazing. I actually love them because what they do is, if you get them kind of loud enough, you can have the intensity of the drums just like kind of overlaying the track, but then again it all blends just really smooth, and it all just kind of goes in together and just makes a good track. I went through some pop punk, I went through some hardcore punk, I went through some metal, I went through some just easy stuff, and I went through all categories of basically rock. I went through some funk, I went through some blues even, and I like the GIs because it blends better than the Hesh sometimes, and the intensity doesn't completely overlay the track, and I don't know, I just feel like it's just right for if you're ever listening, if you just love rock or anything with that standard of instrumentation. Definitely go for the GIs. I'd definitely pick up that. And for electronic music, the GIs, it's kind of iffy because if it rattles too much, as I said before, the hip hop track, if it rattles, then it might kind of ruin your sound a little bit. But then again, if you're listening to trance or anything really intricate, anything just really abstract, I'd go for the GIs. Alright, let's get down to it because I only have like a minute left. For DJing and studio work, you can get better, definitely. But for DJing, because these have DJ articulation and all that, the DJ articulation on these are really awkward. As you see here, this is the thing that bends. You see? So this is going to kind of be on your neck. And also, the cups do not isolate that much sound. They isolate more sound than the Hesh. Maybe not the Skull Crushers. But they don't isolate enough sound for live DJing. Maybe for home studio DJing, not studio work, it might be a somewhat good substitute. But for DJing, no, yeah, you could kind of work your way into that. But I mean, there's a lot of other brands, so you can go with DJing, Pioneer, Sennheiser, also good for studio work. And I don't know. By the way, the mic, I have no complaints about it. I'm not a mic person, but it's pretty good. All right, so I got these on the cheap. The reason I buy Skullcandy, and all you should buy it, it has a warranty. If it ever breaks internally or something fucks up because of the manufacturer, you get full 100% credit. You can just get yourself another one. If you break it like by hand, it's 50%. Remember that. Subscribe, ask questions, blah blah, whatever. Here's my dude account signing off, and thank you for watching.